Welcome everyone back to another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son George. I was my mother's caregiver after she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. She passed on 1/1/2020 and we started TogetherForSharon.com in her memory. Today I have an incredible guest, somebody who inspires me but is just so unique that I was so excited for almost a year it feels to get her on the show. So I just want to welcome Janet Shipton, and we have some important topics to discuss that really can change the world for the better, but you're already doing that every day. And I love your work. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll go right into it.
Thank you. Really appreciate those words. So I was diagnosed nearly 6 years ago at the age of 47. I'm an artist. I was a trained designer all my career, but an artist as well. And things have changed since I was diagnosed. Obviously, a lot of things have changed for the worse, but I've also found a new sense of creativity, a new sense of purpose. With change comes bad and also comes good. So yeah, I'm using it for as good a purpose as I can really, and try and get involved with other people, do collaborative artwork, theatre work, all sorts of things, raising awareness of Parkinson's.
We're going to try and show in a little bit some of your work because my main goal in life, it sounds odd. I even get grief like but I don't want anything in return. And you know me well because we've been actually working for a while together because I admire your art. But my goal is that people with Parkinson's, they struggle sometimes, unfortunately, with medications and even just career. And I wanted to think of a way to really, again, a lot of the big organizations are great, but I don't know if they always touch the regular people like us every day. So I thought, why not, share your work and other artists around the world just for awareness. And like I said, I put your link, so if someone's interested, I'm out of it. That's it. But it's sad in 2024. Even you'll have one out of a million that just don't think you actually are real. But we're here together to show that we're both real, and the only thing we want is a cure. So I really appreciate you coming on today. It means a lot. I say it to a lot of people, but it's true. I consider you family, not just because we know each other, but because there's many sleepless nights for both of us where we're both talking and advocating, and you're always incredible support for me. And I hope that we could at least be a little bit support for you. And maybe you can also touch on where you live currently. You don't have to say this exact place, but I know I love the accent.
Thank you. I'm in the UK. I'm in Nottingham, so Sherwood Forest, Robin Hood country, right in
Nice.
the middle. Yeah, so lived there pretty much all my life. Travelled a lot, but yeah, been to many continents. But I always stay in the UK.
And one thing that fascinates me but saddens me is that Parkinson's disease does not discriminate. Obviously, we don't want it to, but it affects people around the world. About 1 million people in the US, but 10 million throughout the world. I've had the honor to interview incredible people like yourself and Parkinson's UK. And I feel like the biggest problem is really just awareness still, even in 2024. So if we all team up like I like to try to do, I feel our voices are so much stronger. So I just appreciate everything that you all do. We just had the national plan to end Parkinson's passed through the Senate last week. My dream would be not just to have it implemented here, but that other countries like UK can take that same exact legislation and pass it around the world and finally find help and research for everybody and end this disease. So maybe you could, one day take that and do all that. I'm in the
Absolutely.
US.
And I think the thing is, it's urgency as well. It's not tomorrow. We need it now. We need action now. One of the things that I do, as well as the art, I started up a theatre group, we kind of raise awareness through comedy and theatre. So it seems an unlikely thing to do, but actually we get to different audiences. We're raising the name of Parkinson's. We're making people more aware of it through an accessible way. So the people are coming to see our shows and enjoying them and learning at the same time. So it's a different approach. And I think the more people that understand about Parkinson's, the less scared they're going to be, and the more they understand it, the more likely they are to raise money and also demand a cure and better treatments.
I appreciate that, and I agree 100%. What has been your response, even with family, since your 2018 diagnosis? How has it changed your life and work? Maybe did you do art before the Parkinson's too, or?
Yeah, so I'd always painted all my life. It was my refuge when I was a little girl. I was told I was good at it. So when you're young, you kind of respond to that. So I've always enjoyed it, and I was in a creative profession, and then with the Parkinson's, I had to give up my work. They didn't. I was a consultant at the time, and they didn't call me back once I told them I got Parkinson's. So I took on more artwork, and actually, to be fair, the whole diagnosis changed my outlook anyway, and it made me more creative. There is something about, I think there's a phenomena that I see in lots of people that it actually brings out creativity in people. In terms of my family, well, it's been a two sides really. I mean, I lost a marriage, and I put it down to Parkinson's. I put it down to a lack of care, lack of love, lack of understanding. I've also gained lots of lovely friends, a new relationship, people who understand, people who give me the time, people who accept me for who I am now. But it it's big stuff. It's really changed my life. Changed my life fundamentally in lots of different ways, not just health, in relationships. I've lost lots of friends because they don't want to be part of it. They don't, yeah, and it's not a part-time thing. If you're diagnosed with Parkinson's, I think the advice I would give for family and friends who want to be in the relationship is that you can't turn it off and turn it on. You can't turn off on and off the symptoms, but you can't also turn on and off the feelings, the emotions, and the changes it has that it makes on you as a person. We're difficult people to live with, but as well as the symptoms that we gain, we offer so much as well. We develop in different ways creatively and academically and spiritually. So we've got so much to give, but you have to be committed because we can be hard work at times.
And talking about some of your work, I was honored enough to have a copy of your book, A Different Road. And everybody, please support Janet. You can see here. It's hard because I have a
Yeah.
background, but this is it. It's beautiful. And I'm always telling my wife, even my family, how beautiful a lot of your work is and all of your work. Even you can follow her too on Facebook, but I follow a lot of people. But again, no offense to them, but when I see your art, it just like kind of hits me because it's so amazing. And that's why in the future, I know we'll be working together too on another one of my books, but it's really to portray artwork too and the creativity side. And as we talk about creativity, maybe you can talk about the book and at the same time let us know, or the viewers, how does the creative practice also help manage Parkinson's?
Yeah, so the book that you showed, Different Road, was a combination of I challenged myself to go off in my camper van every month for a year. I was going to go for the whole year, but actually, practical reasons, health and emotional reasons, relationships meant that it wasn't really possible to do that. So I went every month, whatever the season, out somewhere for a week, and I painted. And I went on my own most of the time, and I painted. And I learned a lot about myself. I went to see different people, I went to see different places. And my kind of raison d'etre, my kind of thing that I believe you need in life, not just if you've got Parkinson's, is acceptance, adaptation, and ambition. In different, ambition can be getting up in the morning. Adaptation is all about accepting and adapting to what situation you're in. So I tried to find places to go in the camper van that kind of felt that they extolled those three words or met people who kind of represented those three words. And I wrote about them. I wrote about my exploration, my adventure, what I learned about myself, and I painted as I went. And that's kind of a diary of it. And it mentions Parkinson's a lot, reflects on how I'm feeling and how I'm developing as a person. And then following that, so I did that. I really, really enjoyed that. And so this year I started a new project on the anniversary of my diagnosis, the 12th of September. I decided to do a year of sketching every day. So I've got an Instagram page, Sketch a Day 2324, and I do a sketch every day, whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, and photograph it and post it. And it has to be on before 12 midnight, and it has to be an original piece. It can be, sometimes it's quite a detailed painting, sometimes it's a 5-minute sketch, but it has to be something that I've done that day. and it just keeps me motivated and keeps me. It's a journal of what I've done in the year, and then I hope that when I get to my diary with my diagnosis, I'll think I can look back on a year of sketches and art and illustrations and hopefully create another book from it.
And what's your background as an artist? Did you have training or is it all just incredibly gifted?
Self-taught, really. I had a really good teacher when I was a young child who put my work up in the
Mhm.
classroom and he encouraged me. And he said to me, Mr. Slee, his name was, he said to me, if you do your English and your maths, you can go into the art room.
Mhm.
So I got those done quickly so I could go in the art room. I just enjoyed it. It's always been something that I've enjoyed.
That's amazing. And also, if you could tell us about I think art therapy is very important. My mother had different types of therapy. She didn't have art. She would have loved it. She had more music therapy and even religious therapy where people would come in. But at a certain point, it was too hard for her. But I was wondering, with art therapy, maybe you can talk about how that might change the world for people with Parkinson's, and also exercise is another form, and maybe how these might help you manage PD.
Yeah, well, I definitely think exercise is important. I mean, it's proven. I think it's well discussed now about the importance of exercise as well as medicine. And I've done various challenges, fundraising challenges, and awareness challenges. Like I did a 12-hour boxing challenge, so I do boxing training, and I did that with a friend and a gym that I go to, and they were fantastic. And we did that for 12 hours, and I've cycled from London to Paris. It's kind of nice to have something to motivate the training, motivate me to train. Uh, so generally keeping fit, and friends support me in that. But I mean, the creative process, I think as an individual activity, it's important. But I also think collaboratively as well. I think I do a lot of joint group painting and group workshops. And I think the whole social aspect of it and the whole kind of reflection on what you're doing and the community side of it is very important. As is with the theatre group that I'm involved in as well. That's creative practice. We sing as part of the performance, and we've written music, original music, as part of that. And we perform together, and it's kind of you're really exposing yourself. You're really on a journey of discovery, and you find out so much about yourself, and you can build new ways of building self-esteem and a new you, if you like, that you hadn't discovered before. And I really sense that in people who I do creative work with.
Yeah, that's why awareness is so important, because guess what? There's so many out there might feel alone, but also don't realize they have some incredible talent like art. And now if they see this, and please share this to everyone to help Janet, not just for her, but for so many out there that I think need this. And that's why I thought it was an interesting idea to share different artists, not for any reason, nothing, and I don't want anything in return, but that the world knows about you all. There's some people out there that have such beautiful art, and someone out there doesn't know about it, and that's what breaks my heart. So,
Mm.
but as we continue, I'm going to share a few things that maybe you can also touch on. But first, we're going to show everyone this is TogetherForSharon.com. You click partnerships, and then people with Parkinson's throughout the world, you'll see here some incredible artists, but one in particular that I love is right here with us live. And
Mm.
that's one art that we have on Together for Sharon. Maybe if you could talk about this piece from.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. And that's a piece that I painted. It's an exhibition about painting brings out the best in me, and a lot of the little images that you see are collages of the sketches of the sketch a day, the 12-month sketching project that I'm doing. So every day it's something different, and I just kind of collaged them all together, and then did a rough self-portrait of me painting. Um, and yeah, it seems to resonate with a lot of people.
I love it. And then as everyone can see, if I could figure out why it does that, but if you click on painting with, well, this is your website, painting with Mr. P.
Ah, there, yes, yes, yes.
And then, so everyone, please go to paintingwithmrp.com and you'll be able to read more and see more about Janet's journey. Also, you can help support her. Here's the actual book, which I love. You can buy the book. And again, you can support her there and it'll tell you much more. And then also, if you scroll, there's a lot here, workshops, projects. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about the website or where you would like, is there any particular area you want me to show?
So more of my work is on my current work is on Instagram just because it's easier to update it. But the projects and fundraising, there's some videos and there's some things. I did an art retreat, 20 days in 2020, and I went to a remote caravan in a remote part of Wales in the UK, and for 20 days, and just cut myself off and painted every day. And again, there's a journal that I produce. It's interesting because I went out before the COVID lockdown. And when the day before, the day after I came out of 20 days of isolation, the UK was in lockdown. We got announced that we couldn't see anybody, and we had to be in isolation. So I was really well practiced for it. I laugh about it, thinking, well, I was probably the best trained that I could be. So I've been doing it for 20 days. But yeah, that was a good experience. And there's the Art Road Trip Journal. But there's also some videos that I've made, and there's a link to there's a different road, a short video, about a 10-minute video that a filmmaker's made about my story as well, and which is quite nice to look at. And there's a link to that through the website. But that's the painting that I did about the distance between us, the kind of, and that was a result of the COVID lockdown that was kind of inspired.
I'm glad we have artists like you because I can only do stick figures.
Yeah, there's all sorts of this is myself and a friend who had a little challenge that we set each other a word or a phrase every week, and we'd do a painting. That was in response to Wild. The other one was rhyming, so a fox on a box, and we just kind of came up with ideas and interpretations.
Beautiful. I mean, this stuff really gets people through tough times. I could tell everyone I'm always honest. So I have just had back surgery and I'm in pain. But being with Janet was more important because I feel if we reach even one person learns about her amazing work and all that, it's very important to change the world. So thanks for bearing with me. And I'll try and you could probably paint a picture of me pretending not to be in pain.
You're on. You're
I
on.
like that. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of different things that, random subjects. And I think that's a nice thing about it. That was, if anybody's been to the Edinburgh Fringe, knows about the Edinburgh Fringe, we took a performance in 2 years ago to the Fringe, our theatre group did. And that's me jumping for joy after we'd done the performance.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you again I think it was a while ago. And back in August, you were grateful and are amazing enough and I'm grateful enough that you agreed to do an interview. And so if everyone has time, go to TogetherForSharon.com, click interviews, and you can read this completely free and read more about Janet and how to reach out to her too. And you'll see actually all her websites and everything is right there. So I appreciate you always being there too for me because it's all really to go right back to all of you. And then this is another website, Mind and Body Wellness for you, if you want to talk about .com.
Amazing. Yeah. That's not my website, but
so for some reason it's linked, but that's why you love live. Here you go.
But fitness, yeah, is really important. I mean, I'd endorse that. Oh, here's the we went to the World Parkinson Congress and sung our song on the stage with the World Parkinson's Choir. So this was a song that we wrote as part of the writing of the play, The Party Players, and we entered it into the song competition and won. But the beautiful thing about this was that I made new friends in Barcelona.
I hope to meet you hopefully in 2026 in Arizona, maybe.
Exciting. It's really exciting, yeah.
Do you think will you be there or you're not sure?
I'm hoping to be. I'm hoping to do a challenge.
It's a big announcement. Both of us hopefully will be there. So we're available for autographs.
Yeah, I want to do a challenge. I want to go out to the States and I want to walk across a certain part of the States to get there, taking people with me. You heard it here first. I've got a bit of a plan, a fundraising and awareness plan. So we can talk about this.
That's amazing. Let me stop. Oh yeah, I think that was the main area. So stop sharing. Now a few other areas I just want to touch on. What advice would you have to give someone might be out there listening who might have just been newly diagnosed with Parkinson's?
Yeah, I think this is really important. You know, when you first get diagnosed, you think the world's ended. It hasn't. It's different for everybody. Everybody's journey is different, and you need time. And people who live with you and care about you need time as well to get to understand what it means for you. And everybody's different. I can't stress that enough. Everybody's presentation of Parkinson's is different, but also their experience of it. Um, give yourself time and surround yourself with people who care and love you. And those that don't, let them go, because you're on a bit of a journey here and you're going to have tough times as well as good times. And you need people who get it and love you unconditionally. So, you know, it's scary, but reach out and find people who can support you and help you and advise you. And there are people out there. Sometimes you have to look a little bit, you know, you have to dig a bit deeper. There are people that will be happy to help and will take you under their wing.
Have any of the big organizations, hopefully they will see now what you do, but have they contacted you and helped, promote your art and things? Because I think they should. But
Yeah, Parkinson's UK, I'm involved with. I volunteer for them, but they've also supported Parky players in our work. So that's fantastic. Really appreciate that. And they value what we're doing. And some of the exercise things. So they're supported, yes, absolutely. World Parkinson's Congress, fantastic. You know, there are other organisations as well that have lent support, as in sharing the stuff that we're doing and encouraging. So yeah.
that's important. And here's some more questions to get to know you better. You ready? I usually have a drum roll, but it didn't work the last time. So what is one memorable moment or most memorable moment that stands out through all of your work with advocacy that you could share? So is there, that one moment? I think you already mentioned a lot of them, but maybe one stands out a little bit more than the other.
I'd say the most important moment was when I first got diagnosed and I thought my world had fallen apart. And I told my family and friends, my immediate family and friends, but I've got a really good friend who's partially sighted, who's will eventually, he's got a degenerative eye disease and he's got a brilliant attitude. And he when he got his diagnosis, he was an adventure climber and an outdoor person. And obviously it affects everything. When he first got his diagnosis, he changed his life around into different things and he's become a Paralympic cyclist for UK. He's got gold medals. I rang him and he said, "You're still the same person that you were." He said, "Do things, make of it what you can. Do things that you couldn't do before you diagnosis. Make it work for you. Lean into it." And his words were just really helpful and really supportive. And they've always resonated with me, to be positive and to try and make something of it as much as you can.
That's amazing how one person can affect, the future
Yeah.
for all of us. So thank you. Here's another important area more for caregivers listening, but who helps you during times of struggle? I was a caregiver, like What tips could you give those listening who are caregivers today?
Yeah, I think the best tip is to be patient. And if somebody with Parkinson's says something like they're feeling a bit parky today, it's quite difficult to express how you feel when you're feeling rubbish, when your symptoms are at their worst. And you only want to say it once. You don't want to say it because it's bad enough saying it once and admitting that you feel like you do. So I'd say listen and hear and patience. That's hard because I know it's a stressful situation to be in as a caregiver. But to listen, to really listen, and to be patient, I would say.
Thank you. And you mentioned a few of the projects that you've already worked on, but is there any one specific? I guess I already brought that out that you're planning on something big in 2026, so we'll leave that for now. Can you describe or list three words that describe who you are? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Already, that's tough to know.
Okay, I'd say creative. I'd say ooh, I'd say loyal, and I'd say It's so hard. Determined.
Thank you. Those are really important characteristics. So I commend you for those, and I agree with them. I would add a lot more, but that was the question was limited, so we'll be here all time. But is there something different if you look back today that you might have done differently, or you think everything kind of went its course properly?
I think I would have given myself more time when I got diagnosed. Yeah, I think to understand the grief, it's a grief curve that you go on, the bereavement curve. It's like anybody can look that up, but there's denial, there's grief, there's acceptance, and there's different stages you go through. And to understand that it's not linear, that you go backwards and forwards, and you can have a few of those experiences in a day. You can go through them in a longer period. And you can't escape it because it's grief, it's loss, and it is a bereavement because it's a loss of a future that you thought you were going to have. It's going to be different. Whichever way you look at it, it's going to be different.
Yeah, thank you. How do you think more people from the US and the UK or even anywhere in the world can team up together like we try? And what can we do more though? Because like I always say, it's not just about the US or just the UK, it's about the world, and we need to end this disease. Not like if tomorrow we had a cure in the US, I wouldn't say this is over because we still have to get it to all the other countries. So what is a one good way? Because I find it sometimes hard because as you see, or so recently, somebody didn't think I was a real person or I was, not, I don't know what they were talking about, but all you have to do is type my name online. You'll see millions of
Yeah.
things that I'm real, but I guess it's sad still in 2024 that you can do things without people thinking there's an alternative motive, which is not true. But how do you get people how do you get rid of that and bring more people together? Because I think if we
Yeah.
don't get everyone together, even the one bad meme, we need everybody or we're further from a cure.
It's hard, isn't it? Because there's always going to be people who doubt the reasons for doing things. And the world's a big place. There are bad people in it. There are good people in it. But you have to have faith, and you have to keep going. And one of the things that I think is it's hard is when you put your head above the parapet. Is that the right expression? When you're the tall
Right? Like a giraffe, almost like a giraffe.
you get criticism. If you're just quiet and sat back, nobody's going to criticize you, but you're not doing anything. So you just got to. I guess you just got to get thick-skinned and keep going. If you believe in something, you've got to keep going. It's important stuff. So
That's
yeah,
excellent, amazing advice, and that's what I've done my whole life. So it's not good. So just kind of when you leave certain areas like politics or law or policing, you go into the world of awareness for Parkinson. You expect to have even 0% of people. It's even when the national plan passed the House of Representatives in the U.S., there were like 8 people who didn't vote yes for it, and I'm
yeah,
sitting here thinking like on my shoulder. The good and the bad guy. One is saying, George, move on, don't waste your time. The other one's saying, write to those 8 people and ask them what were they thinking because they don't know what they're doing or they're just not
yeah,
aware. But I didn't bother. But I've still to someday I might go get that list. They probably won't respond. That's what happens in America. People
yeah.
just don't. They ignore it. But it's really frustrating how not everybody is always on board, which is
I suppose you've only got so much energy and so
I
much
don't have any.
resource. And at the moment, you do. You just got to you got to pick your arguments. I mean, you've got to pick your fights and use your energy in the best way, really.
If you were to write a script to a movie about your life story, what would you call it? That's my favorite question.
Uh, well, I guess a different road at the moment because that's the title of the book, and I like that. I think
That's true.
I kind of see it as like a crossroads or a junction, and you choose which way you go, or you get forced down that way. Um, but it's not the way you thought you were going to go, but it can be just as good. Or
Do you think you'll have another book follow up, or you're not sure, or you do?
oh, definitely,
It's
definitely,
not easy, so I admire that. I don't know who published, but I'm a self-publisher because even with Parkinson's in the US, it's not a topic that a lot of publishers even want to cover, which is sad. So I put, if you want to talk to that one negative person, I probably spent like 20, $30,000 to get my book out. I'll never make more than a few hundred, which is not why I did it. But that's the problem again with awareness. We need the stories out there like yours. We need your art therapy out there. So I think it should be hung in the Guggenheim, some of the most beautiful places in the world for art. but I really admire a lot of what you do. And when I'm sad and my back is horrible from another surgery, and I kind of, in my slight moment of getting on social media, because it's hard right now, but when I see your paintings, I always still move my hand, even if it hurts, to press like,
Oh,
'cause it's so beautiful. And I don't just say that, again, I'm gonna have, my reputation, I hope, is that I'm very honest. I have nothing to hide, there's no reason to. So when I see something and meet someone like you, so special and important to my life, you are the reason I keep fighting and keep going when there's dark days, and when I want to give up and my problems are going on, like back and all this. I always think of people like you who are still struggling, and that motivates me to keep fighting. So again, I want you to know what you know, that you're never alone, because I'm out there side by side, even maybe virtually, but always going to fight with you until there's a cure.
that's beautiful, and I think that's a really lovely message for everybody out there, because there are people out there that feel very lonely
Yeah,
and
that's
and fighting their own fight, whether it be Parkinson's or something else, and you're not on your own. There are lots of people suffering different things, coping with different things. Definitely not on your own, and there's a way through it. There's a way through
and
it, and
well,
friendship
I
is
agree.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
I appreciate your friendship, but the virtual thing is great because we get to meet like we did today. But being there live is a different world, because I did 4 events. One was the Michael J. Fox Foundation, and we flew to New York City to the Unity Walk, and they raised $2 million in just a few hours. But being there with people live and seeing the Parkinson's community and being embraced by those people. I mean,
yeah,
I met people who I didn't know for a year or two, and finally got, it's like the celebrities, even though they're not, we got
yeah.
to hug and trade stories. But there's just no better feeling than, being with this community. Sadly, sometimes, I don't have Parkinson's. I'm no longer a caregiver of someone alive. I'm in a weird category, and I'm writing a book now about that. That'll be the next book, I think. But I still feel deeply that if we're not all together, everybody, we're going to be further from a cure, and I don't want that. I want everyone to be together for a
Mm,
cure. So
yeah.
one, I could talk to you for 20 years. Your family won't like me anymore. So I just really enjoy the time, and I'm in a lot of pain right now. So I don't want to keep you much longer. But if you could leave the Parkinson's community worldwide with some encouraging words, what would they be?
I think we've got to hope, but we've got to, not just to live on hope. We've got to make things change for ourselves. We've got to be activists. We've got to be advocates. We've got to work together. We've got to be strong. We've got to use things like vehicles that we've got, like the World Parkinson's Congress. We don't want to wait, for 2 years, but it's an opportunity for us to get together. We maybe need to do something, try and think of something really strong to do then, to raise the awareness more than would be otherwise. But we've got to work together. We've got to pull together.
I'm excited to give you a hug, even though we can't do it too rough because my back. Hopefully, I'll be better by 2006. Which is, but I really just want to thank you, not just for your time today, but for your opening heart, trusting me and seeing in reality. Now you've been with me since August. I didn't get anything from it. I hope you did get some awareness. I know you do, and I think this show will help a lot with that. But please, everyone listening, support Janet. Support. I mean, you don't even have to listen to me. Just look at her work. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, that's the one time I don't have to really plug anyone, because it's just there's something different about your work. And I have again a lot of artists, and they're all great in their own way, but yours stands out a lot to me. So I want to thank you for all you do. And I want you to know that we love you. But this is a little statement. I don't. By the way, before I say this, did you have any other questions or areas you wanted to touch on that I might not have gotten time to send a message to everybody?
No, just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
Fantastic. Thank
I
you.
appreciate, as long as you do, I will be right by your side. This is a
Mm.
little note I always read to everyone, but this is to you, your family, and to everybody listening. We love you, we support you, we care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, along with Janet, will advocate for you, and together our voices are so much stronger. And I'm just getting started, and I don't really, it's not true. That's the only time I lie. I have been doing this for a little time, but the reason I say that is every time I see you post and your artwork, or another artist out there, or someone whose life has been changed for part due to Parkinson, it kind of like gives me a fire in my heart, despite whatever pain I'm going through, to keep fighting, because there's so much more work to be done. And until we find a cure in all the world, not just in the US, I'm not going to stop. So that one person like you met won't stop me, and the millions that are appreciative and are by my side in this are the reason we do this. And I just am so grateful for your time today. I was so excited for this, and this one meant a lot to me. So this will live on beyond us. I always say the one regret I have with my mom is we didn't have the technology like podcasts. I wish I could have gone back in time and had a show with my mother, but not about Parkinson's, like literally before Parkinson, just to remember her, talk about my life and all the funny stories. So I can't do that, but I can keep sharing other individuals' journeys, and this will be a record of us together forever, like beyond us, because my kids hopefully will have a cure. We don't have to do it anymore. But my children, I hope, will bring this along, and we're going to share this and share it every year. And hopefully, everyone out there, we need your help because we can't do this alone. Please share this again. But I just wanted to thank you again for your, your heart, your work, and your blood and sweat, because the art is not something we didn't get in a lot in depth about the art field because it's more about awareness. But being an artist is not always, easy. A lot of artists struggle. My brother's an artist, actually. I asked him to come on, but he's impossible. So he kind of just, I went right full force fighting. He's more kind of conservative, quiet about it all. He misses his mother. But I just wanted to really thank you again for all you do, your friendship, and I hope we continue this for many years to come.
Thank you, George. Brilliant.
And thank you everyone for listening. Please again support Janet. You can go to Together for Sharon. You'll see the link for her interview, which shows all of her contact. And she's so incredible. And unlike you, I try to get back immediately, even if it's just us and we're reaching the world. I just want to thank everyone for supporting us again. And this has been another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son, George. We have so much more to come, and we have so much more work to do, but it's positive work. There's a lot of hope out there. Every time I speak to someone like Janet and all of you, it just, kind of shows the hope. And if I had the ability, I'd have like a sun and hope shining on our screens right now, is there's just a lot of good out of the darkness. And Janet's just one reason for it. So thank you again for listening. Please share this until we meet again, which will probably be very soon. So thank you all.